So, one sentiment that is truly unnecessary that a lot of people share is that you gotta leave. You gotta leave town to go somewhere where there is a scene, where there is music popping off, and a lot of people are in general. I mean, dude, let's face it. Everybody everywhere loves music. So if you feel like you gotta go somewhere else to get success or to get... I mean, it's one thing if you live way out in the sticks and there's like no bars or restaurants or anything around you. I understand that. But here in Canton, Ohio, Massillon,
there's so many places.
There's a lot of places.
There's more places even opening up.
Right, so it's not that there is any lack of venue or support or anything like that around here. There's just a lack of passion and there's a lack of hard work. There's like this delusion of grandeur that is very prevalent in local musicians. You know, they get a little bit of success, they get a little bit of attention, and now, you know, regardless of what the reality is in their minds, they know it all. And if things don't go their way, it's other people's faults. You know,
and that's farthest thing from the truth.
Exactly, and that's when people start plateauing or even starting to, you know, start to plummet and not get anywhere and just eventually give up. You know, and they say that the music industry is too tough or that, you know, you can't make a living around here doing it. And none of that's true. You just gotta be good enough. You know,
you gotta care about what you're doing.
You gotta care about it so much that if it's not perfect 100% of the time, you have things to work on. You know, and that should also be a fun enjoyment. Like people should start, when people start to find enjoyment in the process of learning rather than shooting for the end goal and being like anxious until they get there. Until they start really enjoying the process, it's not going to really change for a whole lot of people. Because again, that's why people aren't really practicing. That's why people aren't studying the craft enough and learning how to do all this extracurricular stuff like recording and mixing and promoting and all these other things. If you enjoy the process of learning, if you enjoy the process of growing, then you're going to be successful. It may not be today or tomorrow, but it's only a matter of time before that momentum really builds and you have enough understanding and awareness of the game that you just know how to move and navigate through this very chaotic industry.
Yep.
And I think that everybody who is involved in the scene needs to somehow be in some way a promoter in and of themselves. I think that's one of the best, like promoting other bands that you like, not just your own. Getting involved in other bands' shows and creating a network of people who are just down to help each other. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to be up each other's asses. Just find ways where you could both mutually benefit. And the more that becomes a common thing, bands, solo artists, hell, sound guys, merch girls, people who just love live shows. If everybody just somehow just helped out a little bit each other, then you have this giant group of people who, I mean, there have been times when I've been playing shows and a band's getting ready to go on and guitar player, for whatever reason, can't play his guitar. And he asks, hey, does anybody have a guitar tune and blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes it's just crickets. Other times, guys can't get up fast enough to let them use their shit. And that is such a heartwarming thing to witness that it's kind of shocking that you see something like that, you're so refreshed. Where it's like that kind of thing should just be common. People helping each other out. And I understand, you know.
It's not an anomaly, yeah, it's...
And I know the reasons why people don't do this, why they don't trust each other. You know, there's been plenty of people who have ruined it for everybody. You know, there's plenty of horror stories. Every sound guy's got a horror story about a punk band who's got, you know, some crazy stage prop that ends up messing up the whole stage. Like I've heard guys talk about punk rock bands and metal bands that have like buckets full of just gross shit, believe it or not, like chicken guts, or even sometimes like ink or some type of thing to just like make it messy and wild like this. And they're just destroying gear that's not theirs. It's the house's microphones and monitors and stuff like that. And of course you see that kind of stuff and you're just like, at that point it's like, you don't belong in this scene. You're clearly reckless and selfish. So we also have to we have, just as much as we are rewarding each other, should be rewarding each other for helping and playing good shows and bringing crowds and going back and forth on scratching each other's backs and looking at that as a positive. We need to be confrontational with people who are just slimy people.
Not caring and
not supporting your set, not sticking around, like playing and then leaving, not talking to anybody, not giving any shout outs, just being lame people before and after the show. Like, that needs to be confronted. You know? Hey, what's your problem? Why don't you stay for any of the other bands?
Right.
Are you above that? You gotta start putting that in people's heads, because sometimes people, they just need to be confronted before they realize, wow, yeah, you're right, I am being a douche. And this whole time I've been looking at everybody thinking that they're douches, you know? And it's just like, that attitude needs to be corrected. It needs to change up here. People's minds need to change in order for anything else to change.
Right.
You gotta look out at the world, you gotta look out at the scene and be like, okay, I really enjoy this about the scene, I really don't enjoy that. Let's get more of this and less of that. You know, the truth and the answer to all these issues are so simple and right in front of our faces. It's just our ego, laziness, social anxieties, these problems that reside only in our heads that are getting in the way of all of this.
Right.
And the more that people help each other and feel how good it is to help, and you just take that burden off your mind that you gotta be better and you gotta be the best and you gotta stand out, and the other bands, they can't be as good as you because if they're better than you, then there's less shine on you. Like, that's all gotta go. If you got a killer band in the scene, be like, yes, that's part of our scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And not only that, but look how good they're doing. What do we gotta do? You know, we gotta play more. We've gotta start looking at all the little nuances and considering all the variables and making this better. Or quit. Look, if you're not gonna do it all the way, don't even start. You know? Or expect nothing else to come from wherever you're at. You know? If you just want to play a couple shows or whatever here and there, so be it. But don't expect anything to change for yourself if you're not gonna put in all this time and effort. I'm not trying to be like some type of militant
But to some degree, to make it to a level where most musicians want to see themselves at, you almost have to get into that state of mind.
Yes, but you have to determine for yourself where your success what you want to do. You have to determine your own level of success. And if you want to be way up here, like you said, that's going to require a lot of sacrifice, compromise, money, time, and effort. It's got to go into this. Like building a house or becoming good at anything. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't blame the audience, can't blame the venues and the promoters. You can't blame anything but yourself for a lack of success. And once people start doing this, that's when the growth is going to start really manifesting and things are really going to start changing, at least for those people. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully that'll spark some kind of incentive for other people to really take a look inside and make the proper changes and stop trying to be so glamorous with everything. I feel like a lot of people get into this thinking that it's going to be really easy to get attention, to party, to get girls, to have this wild lifestyle that's so sought after. You know, we want to remake and remodel our lives around the idols that we see on TV and what they have. How did they get it? They just play shows and sell tickets and get on TV. If they just had the right opportunity, met the right person, no. There's years and years of work that lead up into those moments. Mm-hmm. And if you do all the proper preparation up into those moments of opportunity, like, it's all going to be easy for you at that point. None of the opportunities are going to be missed, and you're just going to do what you do, and people are going to be there to witness it, and they're going to want to work with you. But all that work and time and effort is necessary, man, and people can't get around it.
Why don't you tell us who we're talking to and where we're at today?
We are Takeoff Charlie. We are a band from Akron, Ohio. We enjoy long walks on the beach, Bloody Marys at 3 o'clock on a Sunday, and I'm going to let the band go around and introduce themselves, and then it will get back to me. Starting with this guy.
Hi, I'm Mike. I play bass. Yeah.
I'm Austin. I sing and I play lead guitars.
I'm Lee and I play drums.
I'm Sean, and I play rhythm guitar, sing lead vocals.
I'm Drew, and I do a bunch of stuff.
Piano, synth, violin, all that good stuff.
So why don't you tell everyone how you guys linked up?
All right. Well, strap in for this.
And where you came up with Take Off Charlie as well, because I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that was him.
Well, me and Leah have known each other since we were 14. We played in a band together a while back. That band fizzled out, and then I wanted to do my own solo thing, so I recorded the entire first album under my name in my studio. This was back in 2012, probably. And then I realized that I could not play the songs that I wanted to play without a band because I wasn't that good at certain aspects of instrumentation. So I got a hold of Leah to play drums after me and Austin were mutual friends on social media, and he was continually posting a bunch of Beatles songs and a bunch of guitar covers, and his voice and his guitar playing. I was like, man, I gotta hit this guy up. So I hit him up. I was like, dude, come on over and jam. Came over. We sang That Boy by the Beatles. Looked at each other. This boy by the Beatles. Fell in love.
This boy, not that boy.
We had fell in love. We've been together ever since. More than just music buddies, guys. And then yeah, so I told him, I was like, I think I have a drummer in mind. And so we invited Leah over, and she came over and we jammed, and Austin and Leah were just like, oh my god, we can keep up with one another. And then we needed a bass player, so Austin posted on Facebook, hey, this new band, this is back in again, 2012.
Mhm.
We
2013, probably.
2013, early 2013 probably
Yeah,
now.
something like
And, Facebook did its job. Mike Shaw, a guy that went to school with Austin and Drew, we'll get to him later, hit him up and was like, yeah, I can play bass, I guess. So he came over, learned the song that we had a demo of, and joined the band immediately. And that was it.
Yeah.
And now him and I live together. And he lives like 10 minutes away. And then Drew, I was writing the next album, the album that we're here to talk about, I Was Born to Float. And I really needed another entity to do all the things that I wanted this album to be.
Let's be real, you just need more hands.
More hands. I wanted synth, I wanted keyboards, I wanted a lot of harmonies. He was in a band called Midway Zero that was fizzling out at the time. He heard the demos about a year before he joined the band because we recorded these demos in our studio twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked Drew to join about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then that was it. That was how we all met. Take Off Charlie was something I came up with. My middle name is Charles. My grandfather's name was Charlie, both of them.
Same with me.
And then then it kind of all just everyone kind of found a way to connect with the name some way or another. And I don't know, it's something that Take Off Charlie, I guess at the time I was like, it's time for me to take off, musically, artistically, and then I threw that at the end. Plus it's something that if you Google, nothing else really comes up.
Except Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, when they took him off.
Yeah, took him off of-
There's also a movie or something I think called Take Off Chuck or something.
Good luck, Chuck.
Good Luck Chuck,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, something.
But,
something else.
Yeah, nothing super interesting,
Yeah.
but a
My
long,
grandpa's
drawn-out
interesting.
story, which I literally have no other way to explain without telling the whole thing. So,
What caused everyone to start playing what they're doing currently?
what do you?
The current album.
No, well, like, whenever you guys first started, what did you guys, like, how did she start playing drums? How did you start
Well, it was
We'll
based
start-
off your recordings, wasn't
Well,
it?
yeah, I mean,
'Cause, like,
in,
you
re-
heard
in
your
regards to
recording.
personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll start over there with how you
Yeah,
guys
like,
started
how
in
did you
music.
start playing bass?
I don't know. I just had a cheap, shitty bass, and I mean, I mostly played guitar and piano and whatnot starting off. And then they're like, "Hey, we need a bass player." I'm like, "Well, I can kind of play bass," and I feel like now I play bass
That's
more
his
than
thing
anything
now.
else now.
He loves it.
And yeah, so
That's usually how bass players start out, is somebody
Right.
needs a bass player.
because everyone wants to be a
But
guitar player.
let it be known that Mike is going to be graduating with his music degree, music theory,
Yeah.
audio engineering
Yeah, audio engineering.
degree. He's been going to school for a long time, so he's all the horn parts on this new album. Were all scored by him. He scored them out for the. I mean, he is definitely a big part of this new album in regards to just he has a song on the album that people really responded to. So he's much more than just a bass player. Much more. Much more.
Mino. When did I don't know.
Such a broad
Just-
question.
I know, all the way back. Like I just been playing guitar forever. Like my dad played guitar for me when I was like 2 years old, so I started playing guitar, and then I actually started playing drums because I was like beating on stuff and making rhythms. So my dad got me a little drum set. I got decent at drums first, and then I kind of ventured back into guitar when I got older, and I just stuck with guitar.
Well, I started playing when I was like about 4 years old, and my dad's a bass player and builds guitars, so he doesn't really know anything about drums. So I started playing guitar and bass until finally he just got me a drum set. Started on an electric drum set. I was beating the wires off of it, so he had to just finally get me a real acoustic drum set. So I have to say I started taking it seriously in high school, and then I just really went on. I've never had a lesson.
The talent show.
All self-taught, yeah.
talent show
I played
was
a
the
talent
defining
show in high
moment for
school,
you.
Yeah.
She played a cover of.
Drake forever.
Yeah, that tells you
Because
where
Travis
we were
Barker had
at.
done it, and it
Right.
was like, yeah.
And she played it, and that video on her YouTube channel got.
It got a lot, but
a
no,
lot of views.
It got more views in the audience. There was like 3,000, or
It was-
not 3,000, like 300 kids.
There were
in that.
3,000.
3,000.
At stadium.
It's a big high school.
Sunday, Lear
really
Campbell.
packed out. Forever, Drake.
Yeah, but that's, I started really taking it seriously with Take Off Charlie. We would have 2 practices a week, which would just be insane. I mean, we'd practice in a barn for 4 hours every 2 days, or
Yes.
2 days a week.
The
and,
barn.
Yeah.
The
It
barn.
was cold. It would be really cold, or like crappy weather. We'd just be out there playing.
Wow, the barn.
Where was that? Where was the
Sure
barn
doesn't.
at?
The barn was in Springfield,
Was that
Ohio.
Yeah, it
Myersville
was just-
Road? Was that Myersville
Yeah,
Road?
something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the
Killian?
backyard of a backyard garage of a friend of ours who now lives 3 roads down.
Yeah, Declan.
He's awesome, Declan. And yeah, so
Great
we
friends,
practiced
yeah.
there for a while, and then we were in between practice spaces, and then me and him got a house, and we practice there, and then now we are actually, after this interview, going to load our gear to our new practice spot, which is Central Lake Studios, where we recorded our album with Nathan Dowd.
Bless.
Yeah.
So, other than that, where did I get my start? All right. It was 1922. My dad was a drummer growing up, and he was in a band called Jim Ballard and the Chains, and they played Star Search, and they toured with 10,000 Maniacs and Bachman Turner Overdrive. So I was surrounded with music my entire life. My dad never really pushed drums on me too much, but he did push guitar on me. Didn't really want to get into it for a while. Super got into rap there when I was like 14 through like 17. It was super a lot,
Had an
lot
album.
of rap. Had a couple
Sean
mixtapes.
McD.
Sean
Mixtapes.
McD.
There were albums.
And then
Whatever.
decided I should
Yeah.
get back into guitar. And then after that, it just kind of took off. I play just about anything that's standard. I don't play any brass or anything like that, but I can find my way around, keyboards, guitars, and songwriting. If I were to say one thing, would be my main profession. If I were to choose one, I genuinely prefer writing songs over anything. That's one thing I can say. Everybody in this band's talent, music-wise, is beyond mine. Songwriting is my niche.
Your forte.
Yeah. And then Drew over here, we cut out his tongue. So I'll be speaking for him. Ooga dooga, ooga dooga. Hey man, Salamander Jones. Ooga dooga. No, you go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, his tongue's back.
Oh, yeah. There it
There
is.
you go. I'll pop it back
It's
in.
on your body that will grow back.
Yeah, I guess same story with me, pretty much. Parents were in music. For the most part, my mom was in a gospel trio,
Yep, what was it called?
the Duncan Trio.
Trio.
They made some local
there's
television
some
appearances
Duncan
back in the
that's called that.
70s. It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It was a thing.
Some mixtapes.
Some tapes.
Some actual cassettes.
Cassettes.
I have a
Cassettes.
bunch of cassettes. I guess my dad was in a battle of bands with Devo at one point and lost, and always felt bitter about that. Never really
Liked Devo
had a
after
soft
that.
spot for Devo after that. Yeah.
Whipped it.
But no, I got into music around
Whipped it.
12, 13, and haven't looked back.
and the dog's been barking at me for an hour or so. This part of life is feeling bright. I breathe and I stand. I compromise with my time and how it disregards my plans. Each tree sun. My youth is fading lately, but I still feel young. Look how far that I've come. I'll go as far as I can.